the Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship in association with Grove & Dean Motorsport Insurance and Toyo Tyres.
Welcome to Rockingham for the BRSCC Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship. Jim, you are the reigning champion and you had two fantastic races so far this season.
Yeah, 2 wins at Silverstone, which was fantastic. We didn't expect it really, and just carry on the same as we're going, it'd be great.
Who do you think your competitors are for the season?
There's so many this season. The class, especially Class E, is really strong, or Twin Spot Cup as it's called now. James Ford, who was second overall last year. Tom Hill, who's come in for this season, and a number of others as well. It's a really strong field.
And the classes have condensed from 6 down to 3. Do you think that'll help with the competition?
I think it's got to help. I think 6 classes were too many. There was a few classes that didn't really get much competition in, so to split it down to 3 I think was a good decision.
Excellent, well good luck in your race.
Thank you.
Ray, you're the top of your championship class.
Yes, I am at the moment. It's a fairly small class at the moment, so but there are more cars coming along. It's a new class for this year, and it works on power to weight ratio. So yes, top at the moment, but I had some good opposition yesterday from Nick Anderson, so hopefully it's going to improve.
It looks like it'll be a good race then. And did you also mention that it's a new car, was it?
It's a new car to me, yes. It's Roger Evans raced it last year, had a big engine blow up, and then rebuilt a new engine, and I bought the car from Roger. So, and new to me for this year. So yeah, and good fun.
Excellent. And how is it prepared for today's bad weather?
Well, yeah, we've got new wet tyres on, and that's all we can do really. I've got to slacken off the suspension in a minute, and I'll get that as slack as I possibly can, and just hope we get round.
Roger, so you're racing in a new car this season?
Yes, yeah, new one we've built for this season. It's we did a bit of a test with it at the end of last season, but it was just to design more bits for the suspension. So it's a big steep learning curve at the moment, but it went well yesterday. And
front wheel drive, how is that going to help you in the rain today?
Just going to have to be gentle, I think.
I think we'll see some skillful driving.
Let's hope so, probably from the others.
Well, good luck in the race.
Thank you very much.
David, what are you expecting from this season?
Well, we're still developing the car right now. We're hoping to get, a bit more development work done. We're still looking at different various parts that we're still trying out. We made the engine a wee bit stronger for this year, just to try and keep things safe. In the long run, it lowers the costs. We don't break so many parts. Yeah, hopefully we're kind of between classes right now. We've got our modified classes; those guys are way out there, and we've got the power class. They're a wee bit out there as well, but we're kind of catching them. We reckon we're probably closer to the power class at the moment.
So would you say they're your main competitors?
Right now, that's who we're looking at first. At the end of the day, we really want to be closer to the modified guys. But right now, slowly, and we're trying to get the power guys first of all.
Tom, is this your first full season?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I did a race, 2 races last year, which seemed to go quite well, and yeah, I've really caught the bug for it.
Excellent. So you're going to do a full season this time?
Yes, we will do. Yeah, we've had our car built up for this season. Seems to be working well, but yes, I'll do a full season, which hopefully should be quite successful.
And have you been to Rockingham before?
No, I haven't. No, I tested it last week, but this is the first time racing, so it's a bit of a baptism of fire, but it seems like a good track.
And are you worried about the weather? Is it supposed to be quite a bit of an ice rink out there?
No, I've done a bit of karting before. It'd just be a question of keeping the windscreen clear and doing the best job I can, I think.
You should be a pro at this.
I don't know about that. I'll try my best.
Excellent. Well, good luck.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Roger Evans starts on pole position in the number 7 car, the 147 GTA. Alongside him should be Vincent Dubois, but he's not out. Neither is Brian Schrubb, who finished third yesterday, so a gap there. Then it's Andy Robinson in blue. The two power to weight ratio cars, Ray Foley and Nick Anderson on row 3, two modifieds row 4, David Petty and Chris Snowden. The Twin Spark Cup runners led by James Bishop, then Tom Hill, James Ford and Steve Potts on row 2, David Messenger and Simon Cresswell on row 3, followed by Andy Hancock and John Billingsley. Then it's Tim Perry, Andy Inman, James Browning, Richard Stevens, Stacey Dennis, Russell Anderson, who's in yellow in pit lane, Jeremy Chilton and Luther Blissett. Completing the grid, lights out. Looks like Russell Anderson in yellow is going to join from the pit lane. A little bit of a slow start from Ray Foley. Round the outside goes Chris Snowden. Very often grip to be found on the outside line here at Rockingham, and Snowden's got the outside line of Nick Anderson. And that's modified car on the outside of power to weight car. And the modifieds technically should be quicker. Good line down the inside by the red, white and green of David Messenger. And we're in car with him going down into the hairpin for the first time. But it's Roger Evans in car number 7, the man that leads, been with the championship since 1999, overall champion in 2012 and 2013, multiple champion in classes in the Formula. Snowden currently running in 4th place behind Nick Anderson. Keep your eyes open for the Twin Spark cars. Remember, changes in the class regulations this year for the Alfa Romeo Championship. We've enjoyed some great racing from these cars on last lap over the last few years, and it's great to see them back. The Grove and Dean car in the mix there is Andy Hancock, who's running well. Andy Hancock started back in 7th position and he's made ground there. There's the class leader, James Bishop, in car number 1, the defending champion. Looks up the inside of Ray Foley. He's got David Messenger behind him, so you can see visibility inboard or in car is very difficult. Outfield, much better for us viewing in the dry. But here's the race leader, Roger Evans, Andy Robinson in 2nd position, chasing hard. 3rd place is Nick Anderson. Remember, he's in the power to weight car. We've got the modified 12 of Chris Snowden behind. Through come the other runners. Just a brief glimpse there of Tom Hill in 78, the 18-year-old from Brighton. Joined us last year. You might remember him doing well at Anglesey. Remember, you can hire cars in this championship as well if you fancy dipping your toe in the water, which is probably what you would literally do this weekend. Then you can have a word with the championship organisers. And if you Google Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship, you'll find out all the details about how you can hire a car and come and play and join this wonderful championship, which has, as we said, now got 3 classes. There were a lot more classes last year. As we look at Ray Foley going down, and here comes Chris Snowden looking up the inside line on Nick Anderson through turn 1, and Snowden goes through. Good effort by Snowden. And another double champion, Chris Snowden, was the outright champion in 94 and 95, which gives you an idea about how long the drivers stay with the Formula. Chris comes from Emsworth and also known for racing in Sports 2000, Castle Combe GTs. He was historic champion in Sports 2000 as well, so an accomplished driver, accomplished engineer as well, and he at the moment is ahead of Nick Anderson. So Chris Snowden in 3rd place. Didn't have the best of races yesterday, was one of 2 retirees, the other being David Petty in the Mito. Through though goes Andy Robinson. There is Snowden in the number 12 car, so 3rd position at the moment, and he's in the modified class. Remember, we've got modifieds now as the fastest class, the power to weight ratio class, and then the Twin Spark Cup, which is effectively Class E from last year, which is indeed Class E from last year, which is the best subscribed class. And the championship organisers always look at improving, evolving the championship. Last year we had for the first time the Class E runners, or the Twin Spark Cup runners as they're now known, starting in separate grids behind the modifieds, and that worked really well. So that's been carried on to this season, and that's why we had the 2 groups on the grid. Here comes Snowden though, down the School Straight into the Brook S's. There's more than a brook there at the moment. You can see he's following the lines of the race leaders. Still Roger Evans out front from Andy Robinson. Splashes through, wonderful shots, and I'm sure most of the drivers are enjoying this. Come back onto the oval on turn 4. This International Super Sports long circuit, just over 2 miles in length. Across the line goes Chris Snowden and heads down into turn 1. So Roger Evans at the moment is getting away. Roger didn't race with us at Silverstone, We had 2 wins for Graham Seeger in the modified class at Silverstone, not with us this weekend. Ray Foley was on his own in the power to weight ratio class. And of course this weekend he's got Nick Anderson for company. He took 2 wins, Ray Foley, at Silverstone, and it was 2 wins for the defending champion James Bishop in the Twin Spark Cup. As we look at Andy Hancock trying to chase 21, Steve Potts. Now Potts at the moment running 4th in class. It's James Bishop, David Messenger and Tom Hill up front. So Steve Potts, a former Porsche racer, and coming under pressure from the Grove and Dean machine of Andy Hancock, and he's closing in. So this is out of the Dean hairpin down towards Yentwood, the right-hander. This is the only anti-clockwise circuit in the UK, and you can see here, very good move from Hancock. Has a look at the outside line. He might tuck back in as they go towards Chapman Curve. I don't think there's any room there, and well, Potts knows what he's doing in the 21 car and hangs on to that 4th position in class at the moment. The green car trying to close in is John Billingsley, the 33-year-old from Maidstone in Kent. Steve Potts, incidentally, comes from Maidstone, comes from West Malling, which is also the home of the British Racing and Sports Car Club, who organised this championship. And Potts still hanging on in front. There is the Mito going through of David Peddy. David, as we said, non-finished yesterday, but seems to be running well here. The Mito getting closer to the other runners in development. David, who I saw racing up in Scotland a few times at Knock Hill, but has now joined the national championship. Here comes this battle then between Potts and Hancock, 4th and 5th in class, and join us for more action from here at Rockingham after the break. Welcome back to Last Lap, and this is round 4 of the BRSCC Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship of 2015. We're looking at Chris Snowden, who's up to 2nd position now, and Chris has just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's coming up now into some back marker traffic. Stacey Dennis is the first of those, the lady racer from Sussex, 31 years of age, is going to be passed, pulls over to the outside line. We've got John Billingsley, who's next up in the number 8. Oh, and Snowden coming down into Yentwood. A little bit too much speed into Yentwood. Well, he was really on the case, as we said, set the fastest lap of the race. In his charge to try and hunt down Roger Evans, he'd already managed to pass Andy Robinson. He's got to redo all of that work. So the double former champion back on the case very quickly, which is of course what you've got to do. But these conditions, I think, I've certainly not seen them for Alfa Racing for a while. There's Stacey Dennis again, who gets a little bit more screen time, and Stacey keeps to the outside line, and through goes the number 12 car, Chris Snowden. Up front you can see Andy Robinson's blue 156 back in 2nd position. 3rd is Chris Snowden, a gap back to 4th position at the moment, which is Ray Foley. James Bishop still leading the Twin Spark Cup. I remember we've got the modified class. Roger Evans currently leading that from Andy Robinson. Ray Foley leading the Power Trophy, and Nick Anderson running 2nd in the Power Trophy at the moment. And here comes Chris Snowden, who's making a very rapid recovery, and he's going to try and hunt down John Billingsley, the Maidstone-based racer, 33 years of age. Can see just how wet and slippery it is out there. Very, very difficult conditions here at Rockingham. And now they're coming onto the section where you don't want any problems. Onto the main straight, just the wall on the outside. And this is not for the faint-hearted. So get up to top speed. And Chris is going to have a look down the... Oh, and Chris Snowden coming down into Yentwood, another spin. Well, he made up ground and past Andy Robinson, but he's back down into 3rd position again. Here is the leader, Roger Evans, in the 3.8 litre 147 GTA, making very light work of the traffic and working his way through the back markers. No problems so far. So the Peak Alpha machine running well, and he's catching up now with Andy Inman in car number 80. Andy running 8th in the Twin Spark Cup, moves to the outside, moves clear, and the race leader is through and untroubled. One of the things I like about the camera angles here is that a lot of people say that Rockingham is featureless, but there are some undulations here if you look. Some good tight corners, some good flowing ones as well. So it's a really good mixture of a circuit. And of course the organisers can use different configurations of varying circuits here at the venue, and that's what many of the championships do. It's certainly causing no problems at all for Roger Evans. He wants to try and get the fastest lap back. Just goes to show very much how on the edge Chris Snowden was with those problems. But Roger Evans clear at the moment. He's got a very good healthy lead, over 10 seconds at the minute. So Evans comes through the Brook S's, champion in 2013 and 2012. James Bishop, of course, outright champion last year. This championship also notable from the fact that we've had several very quick lady drivers over the years, including Mel Healy, Emma Kowacki, who are both outright champions. Sarah Heels raced in the championship as well. And Sarah's brother Graham, a former champion as well, back in 2003. As Andy Robinson continues his charge through, and you can see that the number 12 of Chris Snowden, who's just out of shot, he was coming through turn 1 and chasing the second position car, as Richard Stevens in the 145, who goes wide, Cheshire-based driver, and allows the second position car. This one's also a 3.8 litre engine and goes through. And you can see now that closing up is Chris Snowden. So there's the battle for second position is going to be happening soon. It's a half spin in the background as we look at Richard Stevens. But here comes Snowden with his lights ablaze. Andy Robinson's working through the traffic as well. So Robinson up ahead of Andy Inman, and Snowden's going to clear him on the outside line as well in his chase. But Robinson's still in second. They're a good 10 seconds or so, as I mentioned, behind Roger Evans. Look how much water's being dissipated through Gracelands, or heading down towards Gracelands now. Go second and third. So it's Andy Robinson from the number 12 Chris Snowden, who is still chasing hard. He wants that second position back. Look how much water and spray is being kicked up. So into Tarzan, and surely it's going to be a matter of time. Snowden, the fastest man on the track, really pursuing hard. Round Tarzan and now onto the School Straight, heading towards the Brook S's. Are we going to see a relatively defensive line? Not overly so, in fact, from Andy Robinson. He's sticking to the outside line coming into the S's. He probably knows that Chris Snowden is closing in, because he'll look in his mirror and see the gap coming down. So Robinson still in second place. Comes out of turn 4, still chased by Chris Snowden in third. So the three modified cars at the head of the field. We've got the leading Power Trophy runner, Ray Foley, who's running in fourth place at the moment, and then James Bishop leading the Twin Spark Cup again. And Bishop will, I think, take the overall championship lead here, if my maths is correct. But here comes the scrap for second. Look at Snowden's very, very deep line into the hairpin, and this could give him a little bit more of a run on the exit. He's very definitely in a position to challenge. Is he going to look at the inside for Edward? No, he's not, but he's making ground up on the number 9 car in second place. So we've got a good alpha battle on here between these two modifieds for second position. Snowden all over the back, but of course he's getting the spray thrown up into his face as well, or into his screen, we should probably say, through Chapman and Piff Paff into the outer reaches of the circuit. And Snowden's going to have a look down the inside here. Is he for second position? Nothing doing there, but you can see the intent from the 33. He is really going for it. So down the straight now, heading towards Gracelands once again, and still in second position is Andy Robinson. Snowden chasing hard in the 12. The back end's come around and he's across the grass, so Snowden takes another gyration. Oh, but no, he's ended up in the gravel, and that is going to be curtains. He won't be able to get out of there. So Chris Snowden sadly is out of the race. Now, will we get a safety car? There's the second place man, Andy Robinson, who's going to be safe in second place now. Snowden walks away, and to answer the safety car question, it's a red flag, and it's going to be red and checker here at Rockingham, which gives Roger Evans the win. Stacey Dennis takes the red flag, but the result, we're being told, is going to be declared, and that means that Roger Evans will take the win from Andy Robinson. Ray Foley winning the Power Trophy and James Bishop taking the Twin Spark Cup. Very, very difficult conditions for these drivers to have to deal with, and I sense that there will probably be a feeling of relief amongst the drivers that they don't have to carry on with those. There is Roger Evans, who takes his second win out of 2 here at Rockingham ahead of Andy Robinson. So Evans the winner from Robinson, then it was Ray Foley winning the Power Trophy. James Bishop wins the Twin Spark from David Messenger and Tom Hill. David Penny is third in the modifieds, then it's Nick Anderson second in Power Trophy. Steve Potts is next from Andy Hancock, Simon Cresswell, Timothy Perry from Andy Inman, Richard Stevens, then James Ford and James Browning 16th.
Roger, on such a wet and windy lap, and you've just come first.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Oh, it was very wet out there.
At one point you were 17 seconds ahead. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. I could see lights behind, but I have no idea what's behind with so much spray.
And how did the car handle the course?
It was brilliant. It was very good. It's just puddles everywhere and just on the racing line, so taking some interesting lines.
Any slips or skids at all?
No, not at all. Couldn't have been trying hard enough.
Excellent, you did so well. Well done.
Thank you.
Andy, you've just come second in the race. How were the conditions for you?
Tricky, to say the least. Very difficult to see anything. So I was just concentrating on keeping the car on the road, using the power when I could. Never driven it in the wet before.
Now, there was quite a bit of battling out there, wasn't there?
Yeah, I thought I was in a safe second place, and then I suddenly had somebody behind me. I thought, oh dear, and he got through eventually, but then he spun. So I relaxed again, but then he caught me up again. But then he spun again, so that was that. So I was really pleased.
Ray, you've just come first in your class, but third in the entire race.
Yeah, very pleased with that, and very happy, and a beautifully prepared car by Roger Evans at Peak Alpha, so good stuff. Yeah, very happy. It was a good race for me.
Excellent. And the handling of the car, did you struggle at all in the weather?
Yes, it's pretty awful out there, and vision is not that good either. So I know I overtook a red car, but I'm not sure whether it was Chris Snowden or Nick Anderson. I'm not sure which one it was, but and then at the end one had gone off. So yeah, I finished with the third place, which was lovely. It's quite nice for me to be up there with the modified cars.
James, you're first in the Twin Spark class. How did it go?
Went really well. Lights to flag, which is how we like it. Conditions really, really tricky. Can't see a lot in front of you, but good race for me.
Apparently this course is very hard as well when it's wet.
The problem this weekend especially is because the British GTs are here, they put a lot of rubber down, and it obviously makes the racing line very slippery, but offline it was fine.
David, you just finished second in the Twin Spark class.
Yes, second after James Bishop,
Yeah.
Yeah, good result for us. Good result. Came fifth yesterday after getting up to second, but finished fifth. So from fifth on the grid today to finish second is a good result.
Excellent. And was there some engine trouble yesterday?
Yesterday in qualifying we broke an exhaust, which meant we qualified in ninth, which was not as well as we expected. But from there, I say we finished fifth, so not a bad result.
Well, you've done really well to pull it back now, haven't you?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes.
Excellent. Congratulations and good luck with the season.
Thank you very much. See you again.
James Bishop heads the standings, leaving Rockingham, and it's Tom Hill in second place. Top Power Trophy runner is Ray Foley, he's third overall. Dave Messenger next from Brian Shrub, then it's Andy Robinson, Andy Hancock seventh from Graham Seeger, Roger Evans and Chris Snowden.
Join us after the break for more action from Snetterton.
Welcome back to Last Lap, and we move on to rounds 6 and 7 of the BRSCC Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship from the 200 circuit here at Snetterton. Pole position at Snetterton goes to Anthony George from Graham Seeger. Row 2, Andy Robinson with Vincent Dubois on the outside, then Nick Anderson and Keith Waite, row 3. The Twin Sparks headed by James Bishop from James Ford, then it's David Messenger and Andy Hancock with Tim Perry and Tom Hill on row 3. In car with Stacey Dennis as we wait for the start of round 6 of the Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship. And away we go, and if this doesn't fire you up for some Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship action yourself. I don't know what will. It was a great shot from in-car, and we'll catch up with Stacey later on, but leading off the line, a little bit slow off the line in fact, is Anthony George. Graham Seeger around the outside. There in car number 4 is Keith Waite, running in the Power Trophy. We've got 4 entrants in the Power Trophy this weekend, but it's Graham Seeger who's got away from pole, the outside front row. Anthony George from pole is second. Here come the Twin Spark runners, and it's the defending champion James Bishop leading those. Stacey Dennis there in car number 30. Timothy Perry-Tur inside through the chicane and onto the long straight. You can see Steve Potts up in front. Right hand one of the 2 cars that's dicing over position there, but now re-establishing himself at the front. And not surprisingly, given the qualifying pace, it's Anthony George. So Anthony leading, Graham Seeger second, Andy Robinson in 3rd place. At the end of the Bentley straight, Tim Perry has got ahead of Stacey Dennis. There in 80 is Andy Inman. So through the bomb hole goes Waite, followed by James Bishop in car number 1. So Bishop leading the Twin Spark Cup at the moment, and it's James Ford running in 2nd position. They come through Murray's for the first time, and we look back. Now the key thing here for the number 1 car is to start getting some of the slower Power Trophy and modified cars, if possible, between himself and some of the chasers. Good field of cars go through. There is David Messenger. He's further back than we would expect to see him. I don't know if he's got a problem. He was second in the round that followed Rockingham. There was a round at Alton Park on the 23rd of May, and David Messenger second in the Twin Spark Cup at that one, behind Paul Plant. Tom Hill having a look there at the red 23 of James Bishop. Hill on the outside line, and tucks back in. Down behind him we've got Andy Hancock in the Grove and Dean sponsored car, followed by 91 Richard Stevens. Following Stevens, it's Steve Potts as the race leaders come down into the Brundle Nelson complex. The front 3 building up a little bit of a gap at the moment over Nick Anderson, who's going to go through in 19. Then it's Keith Waite. Down the inside goes James Bishop. Bishop goes through, and that's a significant pass because it puts a sandwich, a bit of cushion between himself and the 2nd place in class, although trying to come through and knock that off goes Andy Robinson in the background. Robinson is off the circuit, the man who finished in 2nd place in the rain-soaked Rockingham encounter. It looks like it's going to be a non-finish for him here in the first of our 2 races at Snetterton. Flash of the lights there from the defending champion James Bishop, who's trying to work his way past Nick Anderson. There is Steve Potts, busy at the moment chasing Richard Stevens, but out front Anthony George set pole position by over 3 seconds this morning, so we can expect that car, once it's up to full chat, the race rhythm will be with Anthony George. He'll start to pull away. George, another driver who's got a real checkered history in this championship as we go back to Steve Potts. Andy Hancock coming under a bit of pressure there from Richard Stevens, who looks to the inside. This is at Montreal. Normally if we were using the twists and turns of the infield section, the 300 section, that would be a hairpin, but it winds up with a chicane. Back to the Peak Alpha 53 of Graham Seeger, the man who won the first 2 races of the year at Silverstone on the 5th of April. And he's in 2nd position here. Seeger also won the race outright at Alton Park. Ray Foley winning the Power Trophy class on that occasion. And there's Vincent Dubois in 3rd place, another long-term driver, originally joined the championship back in 1989, had a break to go away karting, but the 51-year-old Londoner very much enjoying his current stint with the BRSCC Alfashop Alfa Romeo Championship. So Anthony George setting good pace here, the qualifying time averaging over 90 miles an hour around this circuit. His best time here so far is getting up towards 85, 86 miles an hour as we go back to Andy Hancock. Steve Potts running wide out of Murray's, and behind him Timothy Perry, so there's really no rest for any of those drivers. We're looking at the number 19 car, Nick Anderson in the Power Trophy. There's the leading Twin Spark number 1, which is James Bishop. Bishop, who was on holiday for the Alton Park round, and of course can count that as one of his drop scores. Drop scores aren't just for mechanical failures and retirements, they're to facilitate things like holidays as well. Tim Perry having a look at the inside line here on Steve Potts, goes back to the outside. Potts not overly defensive, so I think relatively comfortable with maybe hanging on to that position. Andy Hancock, meanwhile, seems to have got himself up ahead of Keith Waite, and it looks like a problem for Nick Anderson, who was pulling up right of shot coming down the back straight. And now up front we've got 23 James Ford. So James Ford leads the Twin Spark Cup at the moment, but the defending champion James Bishop, who is unbeaten in his 4 starts so far this year, 2 wins at Silverstone, 2 fifth places overall, 6th and 4th place overall at Rockingham, and 2 class wins. But at the moment it's James Ford, who was 3rd in class in race 1 at Rockingham, a little bit further back in that rain-soaked race 2, and he leads the class at the moment. So Ford from Bishop, those two having a little bit of a gap over the Brighton-based driver Tom Hill, who's 3rd in class. You can see the black car in the distance, and we might well grab a look at him. Here we go, the black car with the gold stripes. He's running in 3rd place, but at the moment James Ford up ahead of James Bishop. Bishop qualified on pole, a 1 minute 31.254, 1 minute 32.2. Oh, and a big wide moment there for Stacey Dennis in the number 30 in the Burgess Hill race. So hopefully we'll be able to rejoin, but that was a lot of dust. She has rejoined, just looks down and is back on track. I don't know if she'll maybe pit for some diagnostics just to check that everything is okay on the car. Keith Waite goes through. Steve Potts and Timothy Perry still very much enjoying their Dyson. Potts trying to get himself onto the back end of Richard Stevens. Keith Waite ahead of them. There is Keith Waite at the moment, who is the... I'm hesitating because I'm looking at the timing screen and working out the classes. He's the lead Power Trophy runner, Keith Waite, at the moment. This is his first outing for this season, and that's what happens in the championship. You get more drivers coming out. He's sampling the 3-class structure for the first time. Anthony George is clear though. Graham Seeger puts a lap on one of the slower cars, so George well clear at the moment of Graham Seeger. And Anthony, champion in 2002, champion again in 2005, and pulling away here in this wonderfully prepared and very well driven car. And you can see the gap that he's putting up over Graham Seeger. Graham Seeger, to be fair to him, is doing a very good job of keeping him relatively honest at the moment. Ron Davidson in the 92. The 164 goes through, and this, the 4th place car, the blue and white car, the fourth position in the Twin Spark Trophy. Then it's Steve Potts and Tim Perry. Ahead of them, the number 4 of Keith Waite, who comes out of Nelson and through the bomb hole. At the moment, the 18 looking pretty good in 4th position in the Twin Spark Trophy. So Andy Hancock, who was 4th in the Twin Spark Trophy Championship positions after Rockingham, is running well. Through shot again goes Ron Davison. Matt Abel ahead of him, and here comes Keith Waite once again from Andy Hancock. Waite running in 7th, Andy Hancock running in 8th place. Then it's Steve Potts, who is 9th but significantly 5th in class. And remember, the 3 classes, the modifieds, moment headed by Anthony George from Graham Seeger and Vincent Dubois. The Power Trophy cars, which are between the modifieds and the Twin Sparks, which are more production based, and that's led by Keith Waite. We do have the 2 cars that you saw, Matt Abel and Ron Davidson, running in the Power Trophy. As we go back to the 2 leaders in the Twin Spark Cup, James Ford still ahead of James Bishop. James Ford doing a limited programme this year, but very clearly at home with the Snetterton circuit. So he's got the class lead at the moment over the defending champion. And James Bishop here, a lot of people would say, yeah, you know what, he's probably going to be thinking about championship points, but he's had that drop score from the missed round at Alton Park. So if he can take a win, I'm sure he would do that. Here comes Ron Davidson, who's running third position in the Power Trophy, and they're going to be putting a lap on him very shortly. And past Stephen Potts goes the race leader, Anthony George. Here is James Ford. James incidentally running in fourth position outright, so it's plenty of potential in the Twin Spark Cup. But onto the last lap goes Anthony George. Will he hang on? Join us after the break to see. This is Anthony George, the race leader, who is on his 15th and final lap. There's only Graham Seeger who's in second position on the lead lap with him. So the modified class have really stretched their legs here. Good scrap going on with 68. Matt Abel about to be passed by the 83 of Tim Perry. He's chased by Richard Stevens, 6th and 7th respectively in the Twin Spark Cup. But the race leader, Anthony George, 20 seconds clear on the penultimate lap, and he is going to take the win. Keith Waite here coming under pressure from Andy Hancock. They're in separate classes, but Hancock will still want to go past, and the Grove and Dean Motorsport Insurance car goes through. Wonderful move through the chicane and up into 7th position, remaining 4th in the Twin Spark classes. Andy Hancock, great driving. Here comes the man who's 3rd in the Twin Sparks. It's Tom Hill. You might have just seen James Bishop in car number 1 go out of shot, but it's the checkered flag for Anthony George. He takes the race win and waves to the fans and marshals here on the 200 circuit. Across the line is going to be, well, Vincent Dubois, we will see in the 88 car. Vincent a lap down, but he finishes in 3rd position. 2nd position just behind him is Graham Seeger, and here's the result. Anthony George from Graham Seeger and Vincent Dubois, all in modifieds. Twin Sparks won by James Ford from James Bishop and Tom Hill. Andy Hancock 4. Leading Power Trophy was Keith Waite. Then it was the twin of Steve Potts from Tim Perry. Richard Stevens next from David Messenger. James Browning, Andy Inman, Andrew Bohr, Jeremy Chilton, Matt Abel and Ron Davidson.
Okay, Anthony, it's incredible to watch this ex-touring car out on track. The 3 seconds a lap quicker than the majority of the field. You enjoying yourself out there?
No, it was a good race, but we were aiming to go for the lap record. We went under that time this morning in qualifying. We were hoping to do that in the race. It didn't happen because there was I think an oil flag or something out down the back straight, so we had to be a little bit careful. But apart from that, yeah, very good race really.
Graham, firstly congratulations, 2nd on the road in the modified class. Anthony's just running away with it. What can you do to keep up?
I don't know. Anthony's an incredibly good driver. Obviously, you know, he uses his car to good advantage, definitely.
It certainly does. And the next race coming up, temperature's probably going to drop. Track conditions are going to suit you slightly.
It's hard to say. We run the same type of tyres. Both run forced induction engines, so if there's an advantage, it's the same for both of us, sort of thing. So we will see tomorrow morning.
Hey Vincent, 3rd on the road. Congratulations. This car has been on the podium every time it's been out, hasn't it?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah. It's done quite well. It took me about 18 months to build it from just a road car, and it's got an unusual power unit in it that's, you know, used to equip some older Alfa Romeos, which is an old 2-litre turbocharged engine that's, you know, seriously modified. It's pushing just over 400 horsepower. But I'm still developing the car, and today I didn't do as well as last time because I modified or touched something I shouldn't have touched, and it didn't perform as expected, unfortunately. So, but 3rd is good.
James, congratulations! You won the Twin Spark class. How was it out there?
Hot, really hot. Not just that, pushed very hard by James Bishop and Tom Hill. See them both till the end, so had to work really hard in hot conditions. So it's good fun, but really difficult.
Keith, an excellent result, 1st in your class.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a good race. It was a little bit of a struggle. We lost 2nd gear quite early on, third gear around here is not the ideal gear to pull out some of the slower corners. Kept the place where I was, I think it was 5th or something, up until the last lap when I made a pig's ear of Murray's. Basically couldn't get it into 2nd, so it stayed in 3rd. Went on, 2 cars got past me, came across the line thinking, thank God that's over, but yeah, we got a result.
Matt, you were the Class D winner in 2010. How does it feel to be in a different class?
Yeah, it's good. The new class means we've got a lot more freedom, modifications, whereas the old Class D was quite strict on what you could do. So I'm allowed to run different tyres and different brakes. So yeah, it's good fun.
Wet conditions now, and it's Anthony George that starts on the front row. Graham Seeger alongside. Row 2, Vincent Dubois and Keith Waite, followed by Matt Avell and Ron Davidson. Lights go out, and are we going to see a better start from Anthony George this time? The Twin Sparks are chasing. James Ford on pole, James Bishop to the outside, and Graham Seeger looking at the outside run, but Anthony George is better off the line. We've got Vincent Dubois in 3rd place, and coming up the inside is Andy Robinson, who's made a terrific start from row 4. Andy Robinson challenging for 3rd place, but here come the leaders. Anthony George into Montreal, Vincent Dubois 2nd, Graham Seeger is next. 4th position is Andy Robinson. Andy Hancock's made a good start. Timothy Perry is there as well. The poleman James Ford has lost a position or 2. Steve Potts is off. We saw James Browning there as well going through. Potts will rejoin, but as we come up towards the end of lap number 1, Anthony George is in front. Vincent Dubois is 2nd. 3rd place, Graham Seeger, followed by Robinson. Then it's Nick Anderson. The lead Twin Spark runner is James Bishop, 2nd in class in race number 1. And Bishop has made a terrific start here in the wet and looking to make it a 5th class win from 6 starts. There is James Ford. He's running 2nd in class, visibility difficult, and of course everyone will have learned from that wet race at Rockingham, so probably in terms of handling, certainly in terms of how to get the best visibility out of the car in these wet conditions. Anderson goes through. Look at the gap at the moment from Bishop to Ford, 1st and 2nd. Andy Hancock is running in 3rd place in the Twin Spark Cup, and he started 4th on the grid, so he's got ahead of young Tom Hill. Here are the race leaders though. Anthony George, massive winning margin. He was hoping to beat the lap record, as you heard in the interviews, and that's not going to happen in these wet conditions. And all we can really see here is a demonstration of this former British Touring Car Championship machine. Splashes along centre straight, comes through into Rich's corner. Vincent Dubois still 2nd. Graham Seeger running in 3rd place, so Andy Robinson will be behind them. Nick Anderson, at the moment the leading Power Trophy runner, with Keith Waite in 2nd position. So back to car number 91, Richard Stevens. David Messenger is in behind. Timothy Perry up ahead of them. And then James Browning, the Oswestry base driver, 31 years of age, in his 147. And these cars make a terrific sight, coming initially up centre straight, and it's very slightly downhill into turn 1. So through goes James Ford. Now sadly we've lost Tom Hill, so we're expecting to see Tom Hill up towards the sharp end. Here though is the man who wound up beached in the early stages of race number 1, Andy Robinson, still running in this one. Oh, and off goes Andy Hancock into the gravel. Such a shame that the number 18 car winds up in the gravel. Very, very difficult conditions. We're on the last lap here, and Hancock will be kicking himself that he made his way through most of the race, but it's Anthony George who is going to take a double win here at Snetterton and takes the checkered flag. Vincent Dubois is in 2nd place from Andy Robinson. Nick Anderson wins the Power Trophy. Twin Sparks to James Bishop from James Ford. Timothy Perry in 3rd. Graham Seeger next from David Messenger. Then Richard Stevens in 10th. James Browning next from Keith Waite, Stacey Dennis, Steve Potts, Matt Abel and Jeremy Chilton in 16th place. Fastest laps, Anthony George, Nick Anderson and James Bishop.
Anthony, it's your second win of the weekend. How happy are you?
Oh no, very happy because it's a local circuit to us, so it's really nice to win here, and especially to win yesterday when it was a really hot day, and then today conditions completely different, very wet, had to change the setup, and very pleased where the car went. Superb really to have both wins.
Vincent, second place today, and you also grabbed a podium yesterday. You must be thrilled.
Yes, I'm very pleased. I didn't expect to do as well as I did. I had quite a bit of apprehension coming out this morning because my car did have problems. It's normally a little bit quicker than it was yesterday, but the rain being a great equaliser, it played in my favour, and I made it second.
Andy, you've just got third place. Now tell us how the race went for you.
Well, it went well actually. Because I had problems yesterday and didn't finish, I had to start behind a number of other slower cars. The best thing I can do is go as quick as I can, as safely as I can, keep it on the track, and see if somebody else makes a mistake.
James, second on the podium yesterday and first on the podium today. Obviously, the wet weather works in your favour.
Yeah, we go really well in the wet, so when it started showering earlier, we were very happy. It's always difficult in the Twin Spot Cup. There's a lot of very good drivers. As I said, I do really enjoy the wet, so we built up a good lead quite early on, and it was just a case of managing it after that.
Nick, first in your class, fantastic result.
Yes, I'm really pleased with that, especially after yesterday with a non-finish. Today was really good.
I'm glad you sorted it. And how was the race today?
It was quite exciting. I quite like the wet. Seemed to always go well in the wet, but yeah, it was fairly close. Lots of action happening, so it makes it really nice.
James Bishop leads the championship from his twin Spark compatriot Dave Messenger. Top modified man is Graham Seeger. Power Trophy led by Ray Foley in 4th. He is joint 4th in the championship with Tom Hill, Andy Robinson 6th, Andy Hancock in 7th. Well, that's all we've got time for from Snetterton. We'll be back with the Alfa Romeos later in the season. In the meantime, many thanks for joining us here today, and tune in again to Last Lap.